All right, good Wednesday evening to you, everyone. This is meteorologist Matt Wentz for Severe Weather Now. We appreciate you checking us out. We have an active evening ahead of us, as we alluded to in our last couple videos, as severe weather is now pretty widespread across areas of the country. And we've got a couple areas that we're really watching closely. A couple target areas where we have not just severe thunderstorms producing damaging winds and lots of hail, but we also have tornado warnings. So let's get to the first one. The most dangerous storms we've had over the last really 15, 20 minutes or so has been in the Indianapolis area. They just got raked downtown with a squall line of storms that's pushed through, and that squall line has produced all sorts of problems, including a lot of damaging winds. And we also have some spin up tornadoes, perhaps on the southern end of that. So, Indianapolis, you're okay downtown. Other than the heavy rain, the severe threat is actually through you. It's now off to the east towards the Greenville or Greenfield area over towards Knightstown, but it's down to the south as you get down towards the community of Franklin, Martinsville, and Morgantown that we have tornado warnings in effect. And these are for the possibility of a tornado with this squall line as it moves in. So let's go to the velocity to take a look at what this looks like in terms of this potential tornado on the ground. And we had a very similar setup yesterday across areas of the Ohio Valley where you get this just gush of wind coming out from the storm. So whether that's a tornado or not in the Franklin area, it doesn't look extremely clear in terms of being indicative of having rotation with it as of right now. But bottom line, this is a very strong area of winds, likely in excess 60, 70, maybe 80 miles per hour at the leading edge of the squall line that's pushing down to the south and the east. So again, Indianapolis, your severe threat is over. As of the last 10 minutes, this is now a problem south and east of town. So we're talking, as we look in Indiana here, areas near Shelbyville, especially Edinburgh and Hope and St. Paul. This is the most dangerous part of the storm, and it's heading in this direction right now. So it's moving very quickly, 60 miles per hour or so down to the south and the east. Again, these are very strong winds with this. So that's the reason for the tornado warning that they've had. A little bit better indication, about 15, 20 minutes ago, that there could be some rotation with this, but now it's just an area of very strong damaging winds. On top of that, we've got hail with this storm as well. Most of that hail is south of Indianapolis, as I mentioned. We're just getting into kind of a rain event in Indy itself and points off to the north, but it's southeastern areas of Indiana that are going to be affected by this storm here over the next hour, and that's really the area that we're going to highlight as we go through the next couple radar scans here as this continues down to the south and the east. So here's a bigger picture of that. Here's Indianapolis itself. Downtown, again, that line is through you. It's this leading edge of this line as it pushes down to the south and the east that's causing the problems, and that's where our severe weather threat is as we are on the go forward here the rest of the evening. So that's our severe storm in Indy right now with the tornado warnings. Very dangerous storm there. We've got other dangerous storms as well. We've had a couple tornado warnings down towards Valdosta, Georgia. Those have since expired with some strong to severe storms down there. Our other tornado warning right now takes us to northeastern areas of Arkansas, where we've had a couple supercells that have developed. This is all kind of fresh storm development. The stuff up towards Indianapolis, that was the stuff we were tracking in our earlier video back towards the Chicago area. So that's well established now, and you can see just the slew of severe thunderstorm warnings with the damaging winds with this. But this is kind of our new development area. This is the activity that we're going to watch push into Nashville in areas of western Tennessee here over the next couple hours. So this is what we need to keep our eye on. But one such storm just south of Jonesboro, you're getting a heavy rain there, but the dangerous part of the storm is just south of you as you get down towards areas near Cache and eventually Bay and Truman. You can see this is a very well-defined supercell, and we've got that hook on the end of it there that is obviously indicating we've got some rotation, some inflow there. You get that little wraparound area of moisture there indicating we have some pretty sharp rotation with that, and the Weather Service indicating that there is a very decent tornado signature. And you can see that there. We're looking at the wind. When you see the green, that's going towards the radar. The red is away from the radar. Bottom line, you've got wind going this way, and it's tight space, and that is creating not just that rotation, but more than likely a tornado with this one. Doesn't look like a huge tornado, but it does look like we more than likely have something either in wall cloud form or an actual tornado on the ground. So if you're in northeastern Arkansas in the Harrisburg community, in anywhere in the path of the storm as you get down further to the south and the east as it's heading this direction, you want to make sure you're in a safe place. So that's our dangerous tornado warning that we have outside of the Indianapolis activity. We now have new warnings that just got issued for areas near Paducah, Kentucky now. You can see some of these severe thunderstorm warnings that we have, and also some flash flood warnings that are showing up on radar as we've had too much rain from some of these training thunderstorms. Bottom line, these storms already moved through areas near Cape Girardeau, and they're getting more heavy rain right now. Just incredible rainfall rates with some of these storms as they continue to tap into just a moisture-rich atmosphere. We've just seen copious amounts of rain, 1 to 2 inches with some of these individual storms, and then you get several of them, and you've got some problems. So here's our severe thunderstorm warning that we've got. This is that newly issued one. Is this talking about just south and east of Paducah? This is crossing the Kentucky and Tennessee state line. So Clarksville, we've got another probably 15 minutes till you get this lead cell, and then maybe another 20 minutes before this cell heads in. That's got damaging winds with it and lots of lightning. You can see off to the north and the west, though, we've got some hail-producing storms near Cape Girardeau, and then off to the south and east of town. That's what's producing not just the flooding, but we've got severe thunderstorm warnings for you as well as those continue to ramp up here. So the bigger picture, we'll zoom on out and kind of show what we're thinking here. You can see we've got just a massive line of severe thunderstorm warnings. This is the cold front sitting right in here like this. And as that continues to plow south and east, we've got this squall line that's developing on the leading edge, and that squall line is going to race southeast all evening long and through the overnight. So if you're in Lexington, Nashville, Chattanooga, Knoxville, even towards Richmond, Virginia, Charleston, West Virginia, you're going to be in the path of these storms overnight. And that's the problem, is that they're going to be moving through during the nighttime hours. That's when we don't need these storms to move through. So NOAA weather radio is obviously a good thing to have. Turn the alerts on your phone because these storms are packing a punch, and that atmosphere is not letting down anytime soon. So let's go back to our Indianapolis storms, see how these have evolved. Still have tornado warnings on these. The Weather Service in Indy may be going towards more of a severe thunderstorm threat right now. You can see all these yellow watch boxes, a very large area under severe thunderstorm warning. Reason why, because this line is producing damaging winds whether or not they have quick spin ups or not. So damaging winds can be expected in all those areas as this line continues to race south and east. But there's a couple little notches in here that need watched, and we'll go back and look at the wind again within that radar, because that's what is triggering these tornado warnings that we have. You can see the colors on there. Those bright reds, my goodness, those are the very strong winds that are rushing out of the storm. Race right through Indianapolis. We have plenty of power outages off to the north and the west of town. You can see down to the south, though, this is where the strong wind is right now. It just moved through Franklin, heading towards Columbus, Indiana, Shelbyville as well, and then eventually Greensburg. And these storms are packing a punch. You're going to go from a warm, humid atmosphere. We've got temperatures in the 70s, dew points in the mid 60s in this area, so it feels very summer-like. And it's going to go from very quiet. You're going to hear the thunder and lightning coming, and then all of a sudden, boom, you get the rain and you get very strong winds when that line pushes in. And it's the reason why we have this tornado warnings because of those strong winds. We likely, if there's not a tornado on the ground, it doesn't matter because we still have damaging winds in some of those kind of lighter yellow tan colors heading into the orangish brown color there. Towards Franklin. Their winds likely 60, 70, maybe even 80 miles per hour pushing south and east. So a very dangerous storm just south of Indianapolis. North of Indianapolis, you are all clear here this evening. That's the good news. We've got rain around and lots of lightning, but you are severe clear throughout the rest of the evening as this threat has now pushed south and east of you. This is where our threat is. This whole area up here is CLEAR clear. And you will not have any more severe weather the rest of the night. That's the good news. So we'll start to clear things out as this line moves through. This whole entire line is a mark of a pattern change and a big pattern change across the country. As we're going to go from our spring-like air mass that we've had, we're going to go from that all the way back to probably late winter, early spring feel. As many of us will be in the 30s and 40s across the Great Lakes. We're going to have some lake effect snow. There are winter storm watches and warnings out for areas of New England as a monster storm is going to ramp up there. But we're really going to take a step back in time here. That little tease that we had here over the last couple weeks for many locations off to the north will be history. Up towards Michigan, nothing severe here. We've got a general rainfall moving through Kalamazoo over towards Lansing, East Lansing. This will affect Toledo and Detroit here in an hour. Not expecting any severe weather there. There's a lot less instability to speak of as we get off towards the north. That instability really ramps up over Indianapolis, though. These storms will be in Dayton and Cincinnati probably within an hour, if not an hour and a half. The Dayton cells looking a little bit weaker. We've got obviously strong winds with that. But I think overall, the biggest storms are going to be south of Dayton as you get down towards Cincinnati, the Covington area, northern Kentucky, even down towards Louisville, as we've got greater instability here and even greater instability here. The further south you get, we've really have a little bit more heating, higher dew points as well. So I think our severe threat is including the Dayton area, but really down towards Cincinnati and Louisville, Kentucky as well. As we get further south and east, let's track this line back towards areas of southern Indiana, down towards Evansville. We're seeing some strong storms coming into town. You can see the outflow boundary we have with this one. Bloomington, Indiana, just got hit pretty hard with some heavy rain and wind, but you can see the outflow boundary. This little line that you see flowing out there is that gust of wind that's going to trigger new storms. And you can see the new tornado warnings going, or not tornado, but severe thunderstorm warnings going up for Evansville here in the last minute or so. But this is going to this little line that you see here. That's the wind coming off these thunderstorms. That will likely trigger storms in this area. So while we're quiet right now in that zone, I would imagine we'll see storms flare up here in the next 5-10 minutes. We're already starting to see that as this wind gushes in. It hits some updrafts and connects with other updrafts and outflow boundaries, and we'll likely see some updrafts produce some showers and thunderstorms there on the radar here in the next really 15 minutes or so. Following that further down to the south and east, we'll go down towards the Paducah area. We were there just a little bit ago, but we've got some nasty weather there. Severe thunderstorm warnings. You can see we've got at least six severe thunderstorm warnings right now in that area. We also have some flood concerns near Cape Girardeau as we've had a training of thunderstorms. This storm moved through, produced heavy rain. Storm number 2 just moved through, produced heavy rain, and storm 3 heading into town now. We may have a little bit more off to the west as well. So the heavy rain going to be a big factor for that area. Otherwise, we're dealing with damaging winds with this storm crossing the Kentucky into Tennessee state line and then back down towards areas of southern Indiana, southern Illinois, into northeastern areas of Missouri, or actually eastern, southeastern areas of Missouri. We're seeing some heavy rain and gusty winds with that. So your severe threat is not over for that area. Down towards Nashville, we've got nothing right now. We've had a couple storms in and around town. The bulk of the activity off to your north and the west, though. That's where it will be here over the next hour. Memphis, though, you have some storms on the doorstep here. You can see just south of Jonesboro, Arkansas, we've got a tornado warned storm that we were talking about just a little bit ago, and that storm is still rocking, still producing some rotation enough so that we have a tornado warning with that. Now, in terms of Memphis, your forecast here, it becomes a little bit more scattered as you get down towards the south. This isn't a solid line, so we do have some broken segments in it, but we are expecting some of this to begin to fill in and become a little bit more linear as we go throughout the evening, because this is along a cold front too that's going to drop our temperatures even as far south as northern Alabama, northern Mississippi, and Texas. Today in Dallas, Texas, we were, I think, 96 degrees. Tomorrow, we're talking temperatures in the 70s. So a big pattern change on the way for much of the eastern half of the country, and that's why the severe weather threat is so widespread. You can see the bulk of the warnings right now are dealing with this line along that cold front. We did have some warnings down in areas of southern Georgia a little bit ago. It looks like those have weakened a bit as most of the energy begins to focus back to the west again. But we are dealing with a few severe thunderstorm warnings. Looks like one giant one here for areas of North Carolina and northern South Carolina as these storms continue to produce some strong winds and a little bit of hail with these as well. Just south of Charlotte not being impacted by these, but if you're in the south suburbs or if you're in Charlotte itself looking down to the south, you can probably see all the thunder and lightning from that as these storms continue to roll. Not too concerned about a tornado threat with these. These are kind of surviving on their own here. These are almost The typical thunderstorms that you get in the summertime that kind of bubble up with the heating of the day, they are associated with a little bit of or mid-level energy, but overall not too concerned about those. The big concern is with these storms off to the north and the west racing through the Indianapolis region. All right, good news. We have lost a tornado warning for the Indianapolis storms. That's great news, actually, as these storms continue to show signs of just becoming a little bit more linear. We don't have those little notches with it, but we still have damaging winds with this storm coming out of Indianapolis, heading down towards Cincinnati. So I would expect damaging winds in this corridor right here over the next 15 minutes as this slides south and east, especially this little chunk right here. We've got a lot of energy with that. As this continues to race. So our only tornado warning right now is in areas of Arkansas. This is just south of the Jonesboro community. Or I should say community, I should say the city of Jonesboro. It's a pretty decent city, but we've got that tornado warning there, and this storm is heading towards the Memphis area. I think it will head just north of you. We'll have to keep an eye on this, though. This is going to be a storm to watch, and we'll see if it holds together as well, but we've got a lot of instability here, and you can see that storm tracking like that. So it's going to be a close call if it holds together for the Memphis area as it crosses over in the Tennessee state line. All right, so we're going to continue to watch that storm. It looks like our activity up towards Indianapolis is still severe, but we've lost a tornado warning there, so we're going to take a little break, and we'll keep you updated as we go throughout the rest of the evening. We appreciate you trusting us here on Severe Weather Now. Thanks again.